The card is the Chaska, Star of Venus. Chaska, Star of Venus supports an inner shift to higher consciousness. Whether or not you consider yourself to be financially skillful, part of your sacred power and purpose includes the healing of economic and financial matters in your own life and in the world. You are meant to experience abundance, creating and sharing prosperity from a place of inner spiritual security. A healing liberation from poverty consciousness allows the universe to work through you more easily and without the obstruction of negative conditioning. Financial healing is indicated. Let go of fear and trust unconditionally that the universe is supporting you. What brings you a sense of joy, purpose, and passionate devotion? Focus on that. Believe in your ability to thrive by being and expressing your authentic self. Notice how you relax into flow and more easily attract what you need when you acknowledge that the universe wants you to flourish through being you. Focus on putting your beautiful beliefs out into the world, not in consuming the negativity or fear of others. Give of your spirit abundantly. Nothing is beyond the reach of divine assistance. Trust in this, and you can fulfill your purpose of being a positive influence in the world. The oracle of the Shaska is the oracle of Venus, the morning and evening star, and she heralds the transition into a new reality of higher consciousness and healed experience regarding money, financial power, and resources. This oracle guides you to give up false shame of not having enough or guilt for having too much. Your true worth is a matter of soul and has nothing to do with the material things. As you relax and acknowledge the love that the universe has for you, your material reality will unfold with grace and divine support. Place your sense of security not in the amount of money you have, but in the unconditional love and endless generosity that the universe wishes to share with you. Trust that the universe will provide you with all you need to fully live your life. When you are given something, accept it and consult your own heart for how you might share that resource with wisdom. Give yourself permission to stop making financial matters an issue in your own mind. Trust that the universe knows what it's doing, and all matters can be resolved according to the loving higher intelligence. Focus on giving your gifts to the world as generously as you can, whilst opening up to receive fully and fearlessly. As a sacred change maker, you are asked to broaden your definition of currency from pertaining only to money to include that which has meaning for you at a soul level. This may include integrity, authenticity, relationship, consciousness, and community. In your relationship with yourself and others, how might you express such a currency of the soul? Seek and treasure that which cannot be quantified monetarily. Cultivate and share your experience of true wealth in the best and broadest sense. Some indigenous cultures define this wealth not as how much you accumulate for personal gain, but how much you are able to give in support of your community. This creation and honoring of soul currency does not mean that you are to be denied money or financial healing. It is about placing that in correct context. It's a shift fear of lack into trust in spirit. The recognition of soul currency helps unravel an obsession with money, freeing your mind and emotions to be reordered into a more relaxed and open attitude towards financial matters. This in turn makes it easier for you to receive the generous flow of abundance from the universe. Seeing wealth as more than money and refusing to make money an indication of success and the worth of a person is an antidote to the wound of separateness. That wound creates selfishness, ignorance, jealousy, and greed, stealing from community and depriving future generations of their rightful inheritances. This is the conscious economics of bringing people together, not driving them apart. When it is wisely placed within a soulful hierarchy and definition of value, not above it or beyond it, money can be a part of a more full and sacred relationship of exchange, not something that creates division. We feel happier, more connected, and at peace. A spirit of hope, optimism, in separation, and boldness of belief takes hold in our hearts, and we begin to feed the malnourished souls on this planet with good spiritual food. We no longer wait for the new world, we become it. I think that that one feels like it's good for everyone. I think because no matter where we are in money, there's always this feeling of, is it enough? Is it in balance? And it's hard to know because our society only puts it on money, you know. And I have to say that even though I'm not making money, I feel, and I say making money in the sense of being an equal with my partner, I feel the most abundant that I ever have because of soul. And I know, you know, it's the releasing of needing the material things that make it easier to accept exactly where we are. So I really think that was a good card for today. Let's see, we have a couple of classes that are coming up and I'm just going to mention them before we start. So one is combo. Kayla's going to talk to us about what combo is, but we haven't set a date for that yet. So that's to come. And then also when Megan's back from Peru, she's going to talk to us about microdosing some more. And then I am on this unwavering quest to figure out the Merkaba. So I finally got through the Flower of Life, which, let me tell you, on Gaia, it is 36 episodes. And I finally finished it yesterday. And holy crap, it's like from 1984, I believe. It's challenging to get through, but then I decided to just Google his name and Drumvalo, and there's a more updated version. I think it was in 2009 or 10 that he did this one. It was in Sedona, and it's called something about opening the heart. So I've started that. And he's I'm only in the first episode, but he talks about how we have to start in the heart to open the Merkaba. And I have a feeling, I'm praying, that in this one, he's actually going to teach how to use the Merkaba, because in the Flower of Life, he does not teach that. And so I'm going to share the link to that episode. And with my membership to Gaia, I know when I share a link, it's free for everybody to watch. So you can, if you're interested to hear what he has to say in that episode. The other thing I have as notes is that S.A. Smith said, you know, there's going to be a big shift around August 22nd and the full moon in August. But she has since said that August 4th is also going to be a big energy day. And Anne, do you want to speak to her latest video maybe? Because she did actually touch on something that the group has been talking about. Or dreaming about, I should say.
Yeah. To grab my phone to get my notes that I sent you.
Oh, I think you can just say.
Yeah, and another date it was August 4th. Another date she gave was August 17th, I think I wrote down. Because I wrote down several notes from her. Yeah, it was kind of funny because when Tiffany had her dream this morning, of all of us with the lion, and then she said that her husband, that we all went down to the marina and we all got on a boat and we all went off on a boat. It kind of made me laugh because before I got up this morning, I've been really looking at the Schumann residence. I go straight to the website to see what's going on because because now I'm really, when something's happening, it's like, okay, what's going on out there? And I look every single time in the middle of the night. If something is funky going on with me, then I look immediately. I mean, it's gotten that intense with me lately. And so I ended up looking, which made me laugh. I was looking at it, and then I ended up reading something she had said, and she had posted on there that we're all going through ships, that we're all supposed to get on a ship. And this is where I'm not really understanding everything, because I don't know what it is about these ships, but she says we're all supposed to consciously, you either decide whether you're going to get on a ship or whether you choose not to get on a ship, and it's okay whatever you choose not to do. And some people are going to get on ships and they're going to be helping, kind of like the mates. I'm trying to think what they're called.
It was something about ushering people to where they're supposed to be, right?
Right. And those who don't go, you're going to be in this, great place. It's a combination of either Hawaii and Florida mixed together, and it's going to be wonderful. So if you don't get on the ship, you can do this. And that's a good place too. And it was just, like I said, I don't understand the ship thing. And I had sent it to Gabrielle saying, did you listen to this? Do you know what she's talking about? But it was just funny to me, because it was like, she had this dream about getting on a ship. Is there a correlation with her dream of all of us getting on the ship? Is this like the ship she's talking about? And then she was talking about, and it was funny because she keeps talking about the Lion's Gate, and Tiffany's dream was about a lion. And and some of the people I've done some readings with lately, they're seeing lions, and it's just like, there's all this stuff with lions all of a sudden. It's like, what's the lion thing coming now? And I don't know, it's just, and then like Gabrielle was talking about with the sun, she was saying that we're all supposed to, that there's going to be the light of the sun. Oh no, there was a post that I put on this morning that came from, where did this guy come from? I don't remember who it came from. Maybe a Awoken, whatever it was called. But anyway, they had a thing about with the Lion's Gate that there was a lot of energy with the sun coming at us. And I was thinking of Gabriel, because when she got her reading a couple of weeks ago, that the lady said that she's going to be drawing more towards the sun than taking the energy from the earth. So it's like everything just started coming together here. It was just kind of wild. So sorry if I'm rambling. Oh, and I also talked about the Phoenix, and I thought of you. So it's all coming together, ladies.
Well, last week April mentioned, and she shared that video about how I can't remember her name. It's Stacy, right? Is her name Stacy? Stacy Martin, I think.
You talking about the lady?
Oh, I can't hear you. Say that again.
You talking about the lady who did the video? It was Courtney.
Oh, Courtney. Yeah, that's what it is.
Courtney Starkey. Yeah.
Okay, I'm so sorry. Yeah, I watched it, and basically she was like saying that she had issues grounding, and then she realized through someone had said to her, well, why don't you try using the sun instead of going down, go up? And she felt so much better with that. So yeah, if you guys didn't see that video, it's pretty interesting. It's just a little short video, but I mean, I do think, yeah, for sure, the solar flares and the gates, the Lion Gate opening is probably, calling us to open up ourselves to the sun. I need to like look more into it. I don't really know what this Lion's Gate is. If anyone else, Mina, I have a feeling you know what it is.
Not really. I was just making a connection because a Persian flag prior to the revolution in 78 has a lion, a soldier lion with a sun behind it. And in looking after Susan sent out the meanings of names, I've been looking into my last name, my maiden name. And while I still don't know for sure, there's a loose interpretation of soldier of the sun. So I know that there's definitely connection between lions and sun, and probably, you know, masculine energy or divine masculine energy. That's all I was really thinking of, but maybe there's more.
I know, like, astrologically speaking, that the Lionsgate portal is the period of time that we're aligned with the Sirius star system. So, and it's, you know, Leo. It's in the sign of Leo. It's the lion. But it has something to do with our, like, Earth's alignment and the sun's alignment with Sirius.
I'll try to look up some information to attach to the video if I can find some more about it. And then, so that we have our meeting next week is going to be before it. So maybe next week we can focus on the Lionsgate and maybe do some grounding for that. But I did actually, and the thing you sent said that it was starting, or what did it say? The energies were coming in between the 30th of July. Was that what it said? Yeah, July 30th through August 12th. Those are the peaks of the Lionsgate portal. So it's starting tonight. Or yeah, it says peaks tonight from July 30th until August 20th. So I'm thinking that in the next couple of weeks, yeah, if we can use that energy to bring, again, I feel like it has to go through the system into the ground and back up. That's how I just am envisioning it. I don't know if anyone else has any feelings about that. So I would just say in the meditations to try to pull it through. And I don't know if I've mentioned this, but like for me, I haven't been feeling called to go to the cliffs anymore. And I'm really sad about it because it was a place, you know, for me that really started a big part of this journey. But it's funny because ever since I buried my crystals there, I stopped feeling called to be there. It used to be this like inner, like, again, it feels like a magnet pull that I didn't have a choice. I would have to make room for it in my day to go. And now it doesn't. And even so now I feel like when I go, it's kind of like my mind is bringing me, where before it was never that. And I do wonder, is it because I put those crystals and pulled the energy through? That's possible. I mean, that's part of gridding, is that when you're a grid worker, you don't stay with where you are, where you put your energy and where you put those crystals. You do that so that your energy is there permanently, and you're pulling light into that place. So the moment that I did that, maybe that, wait, let me first also say I was creating earth altars on top of that cliff, but you know, people could come by and move it, or you know, and every couple days I would be refreshing and bringing more crystals, but I had never buried it until that that download came. And then after that, it was like after they were buried, it's complete. But I haven't felt like I'm called to another place. So that makes me really feeling sad. So personally, I probably will go back to that space just because for this Lionsgate energy, because I don't have another place that I'm feeling called to. Have you guys felt that in where you buried your crystals?
I would love to be where my crystal is, but I swear the mosquitoes are so bad. I've tried. Everyone swears like they have the solution, you know, just wear this essential oil, spray this, burn this, and like the mosquitoes will leave you alone. I don't know. Maybe these are just like devil possessed mosquitoes. But I am just really looking forward to October, when it's my favorite month anyway, but that's when things are going to start cooling down and where I can go out there without getting eaten up. So I don't know if it's calling to me or not. It probably is. I just haven't been able to answer the call.
I mean, I would say when you did it and you first put your energy there, it probably, I'm saying it probably pulled it in, and it's like it's not needed versus like before you doing that, your energy just being there temporarily is needed. But when you anchor it with the crystal, I feel like it anchors, like it's there. Yeah, I don't know. It's something that I'm working through for sure, and feeling into. I don't know the answer though. So I do want to talk about, or Mina is going to talk about, after the last, maybe it was 2 weeks ago, talking about how we can use our senses to start working and understanding how to communicate first with stones. Oh no, sorry if you can't hear me. My thing says it's unstable. Can you guys hear me okay? Can you hear me? Okay. So I shared how, for example, to start hearing the stones, and then Mina had an amazing idea. So I'm going to let her talk because I want her to own it. It's not my idea.
Well, in watching last week's Zoom, and kind of seeing where everybody was at in different places, and also, the WhatsApp chat is wonderful, but also for those that, have to break away for the day and then come back, it's a lot of content to go through, and there's so many wonderful threads. And sometimes, there's just a lot of content. And I thought, wouldn't it be nice if we had a way for us to, originally I thought of pairing up, but actually I think at least 3 or more might be better, to see if there's a way for us to spend like 1 or 2 weeks in a smaller focus group of the overall energy tribe, so that we're not only supporting each other, but also practicing. There's this sense of urgency in what we talked about last week that came over me, and I was trying not to let fear overtake my emotions, but just the sense of urgency that we have however many sleeps left till the big shift, and that afterwards we're going to be in a place where we have to communicate with our ethereal senses and not rely on our senses of 3D, and communicate with our hearts. And so while I know that we all agree that our energy, when we bring our energy together, there's something beneficial to get out of it. And I've said this before, since I've met this group of ladies, like I feel myself, my vibration higher on a more frequent basis. But perhaps to dive into strengthening our gifts and practicing whatever practicing means, but also supporting one another. Maybe that's something for us to think about. One of the things that I started doing in the beginning of my awakening with my sister-in-law was we practiced like remote viewing, or sending each other imagery, or doing readings for each other, or meditating at the same time, and seeing if we were able to see and feel a connection. And more oftentimes than not, it always worked. One day I saw triangles in my head, and I called her and asked her about it, and she said, "Oh, I was putting a pyramid of protection around you guys." So there's something definitely there. And I think that when you get those little tidbits of validation, it strengthens your confidence, and that in turn strengthens your gift, and it comes out. And the more that comes out, it comes out at an accelerated rate. And like I said before, I think, other people's gifts are another person's medicine. So maybe there's a way for us to get together in smaller focus groups to have that deeper energy exchange. And also practice. And so I don't know what do you guys think about that concept?
Susan, do you want to talk?
no, I like that. I just don't know how we can keep up the WhatsApp with like, it's another layer, which I think is great. And think I do better when I text people one-on-one in this group. I feel like it just feels more like I'm getting to know you as a person, and I like the group too. So I'm just thinking maybe we can. I immediately when I read that text, I thought, yeah, that is the way to go, because then we can maybe rotate between different people and get to know everybody a little bit more intimately. I do like that a lot. It's hard to share a lot when there's so much content coming in as well, and then to respond to everything as well. So yeah, no, I definitely think we should, not should, but we could find a way to weave that in so that we can bring forth more in this group. It's a bit deeper. We can go deeper.
Yeah, I feel like it's hard when there's so many people, it's hard to keep focus on what you're digging into, because then like the next day something else comes in and it's just like throws you kind of a little bit of more a loop. But I also was saying to Mina, like it would be cool if she like or we come up with topics that each group focuses on. Like for example, if it's meditation, then each breakaway group does their thing together on their own, and then we come back, like say on our group chats, and talk about did it work, what happened, and then the next week we could be talking about something like astral projection or whatever, all the things that we want to dig into. But it's so hard because there are so many things, and it definitely can feel overwhelming for sure.
Yeah, but even like I used to meditate with a friend, and sort of like what you did, Nina, and things came up, and it was just like one night a week we'd meditate at the same time, and 10 minutes of meditation really wasn't that deep, but you go deep because a lot of things come up, and you can have that time to chat about whatever springs come up that are in your life or whatever you're going through. So I felt like it went so deep for such a short time period. And then we can share, like a lot of people had a hard time getting into the meditation. So where does that go? I mean, things just kind of like, evolve into whatever it is we need to talk about. It's just like, it's almost like having therapy, but you're not like paying for it. And since we're already in this tribe, it makes kind of sense to have that, I think, for each other. Because I can feel everybody has all these different lives, and so much is going on, and then we're listening to the chat and trying to tap into the dreams and everything, and it's a lot like the dreams. I don't have dreams, so I'm just riding the wave on that. So yeah, so, yeah, I love that idea. I don't know how we can do it, but I can help.
I like what you said though. It definitely seems like it would become more therapy and having like a closer connection with a small group. But at the same time, I think it would be cool if we like switched up the groups like once a month, or so, you know what I mean, like where we don't become reliant on that small group, but we keep sharing the energy and moving it forward and nurturing each other where we're at, because I think that's also why we've been brought together. I know that's why, I know that we're all at different parts of the journey, and I think like there are some things I just don't respond to, because again, like you're saying, Susan, I don't have that direct experience, so I don't want to chime in and say anything. But at the same time, if it was like I think 3 sounds like a good mix, then you can go deeper.
Yeah, maybe we can shift groups like every 2 months or every month, and then we'll get to know each other, and then the synergy will be actually greater, I feel, because I don't know, a lot of people I'm hearing are better one-on-one people than group people, so all are sure.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask that Mina owns this, and so if you want to handle them and mixing is meant to work together, and then I think just having like a very brief structure would give people an idea of what we're talking about, and then each of those groups can create their own WhatsApp app chat so that they can start, working closely together. But I've talked about this before, but if people have ideas, I'm going to empower you to bring them forward, because I know that's what we're doing for each other.
Yeah, I'll follow up with because I was thinking of using the pendulum to ask, who would be, at this point in time, what would be the good mix of energies to level up everybody. But I want to ask for everybody's consent for me, because I can use the pendulum on myself to know, who would benefit most from me, who would I benefit most from at this time. But I didn't want to doubt for others without their consent. So I'll ask everybody, and then jot down what just comes to my mind, and how to start this. So and ideas of how you can begin working with the group, your subset, what you could practice on.
Yeah, I mean, I think even I'm still stuck on Half Day because I just started using it. So it'd just be nice, yeah, if we just got a little group, and then I can talk about Half Day for an hour. I just want to talk about whatever. Yeah, I think everyone feels that way, but I'm just because I just rode the wave, I just got in. So it's I don't want to bring our group back to where we already talked about it, but it'd be nice to have you
Well,
guys.
I personally would say that I don't think anybody would feel like they're being brought back to talk with you about it. It's all an experience that we all have been through, and it feels supportive to want to be part of your journey, so don't feel that it's bringing anyone back.
Perfect, yeah. Great.
I've also because I was kind of struggling is what should be the focus of putting the groups together. Should it just simply be where your energy's at? Should it be the geographical location and the energy vortexes that you have where you are? Should it be based on your human design? There's so many things, and I don't know, I'd like to get some input on what your initial feel is from this group, of how to go about it, because I could come up with a whole laundry list, but it's just a matter of choosing.
Yeah. Me personally, I think we should let the pendulum decide, because when we get our minds in it, it's we're creating division before we even start where we're, it's our minds have no place in this, in my opinion. I think it's the energy. And who knows, what if it will show one person on the West Coast needs to be with someone on the East Coast because it's balanced that way, that's what I think. And I love that everybody's in different places, because there's a reason for that. It is how it is for a reason. Do you guys agree? Or
I agree with the going to the pendulum, and I'm totally comfortable with Mina guessing for me. I think that's a good way to go about it. I think my only thing is I feel could we switch up the groups I guess if we switch them every week, it doesn't give us a chance to really get into things. But on the flip side, I think there's a lot of power in all of us, our whole group, and I feel we want to see everyone. I would miss the people I'm not in a group with that week, even though I'd be happy with the people I'm with.
well, I don't think it would go away, and then we all have our weekly to dig deeper. I think that makes sense. Do you guys agree that that makes sense? Hello?
I agree.
Okay, I agree. I agree. Yeah, I think that for sure. Well, I think I said this last week. There's a reason that we have to start working and going in deeper on the senses. So what Mina is trying to just take it into practicality. How do we do that, right? That doesn't change the group dynamic. It's just now let's break it out into groups that we can start digging in. And like I said, I think we all are in agreement of the pendulum picking. Did we say 3? I feel like 3s would be good just because it's like balancing. I mean, or actually maybe
I'll ask the pendulum.
exactly. Exactly.
I did ask that, and it did say 3 was better than 2, but I didn't just ask how many in a, because I think it varies. What I think what the pendulum was trying to say is you're not going to have,
And what
you
if
know,
one group there's 4 and the other one there's 2? That might be for a reason too.
yeah. Okay. On it.
And everyone just shake your head if you're in agreement to her to use your energy for pendulum work. Okay. Oh wait. Oh. And then obviously we can text the ones that aren't here, Mina, if we need to get their permission as well. So I personally, like I was saying, I think this is a good idea. I think Anne and I both learned how to start communing with nature in that way. And I just told you guys, like, I didn't know, and I'm sure Anne didn't realize either that she had any gifts, as they're called, until you start practicing, and then they just come out naturally. So Anne, is that how it worked for you as well?
Yeah, and I laugh because we were initially given groups,
That's right.
and I don't think I worked with anybody in my group when we were done. I mean, you were in a totally different group, and Veronica was in a totally different group, and Misha was in a totally different group, and that turned into my group. So it was kind of funny because my group ended up splitting up.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, one
it was kind of funny that we all ended up all over the place. So
that's why I think if that is the pendulum picks, it knows who's gonna work well together and versus not. And in our situation, we just started, like, we had to get the work done, and I was like, well, no one in my group is responding, so I'm gonna talk to Anne.
yeah, because it was like if we didn't get it done, we couldn't move forward, and it was like we have to get this work done. So yeah.
But Anne, do you think that it was through the working in groups that helped you to know what your gifts were?
Oh yeah, because it kept growing, definitely, and I kind of like the idea of everybody kind of getting an idea of, kind of like you do some research on this and you do some research on this topic. I think that helps. Because like some people have a lot of knowledge on this stuff, and like Susan was talking about, well, she's the Hape. Well, there's so many people who are just now starting Hape. So if all those end up getting together one day, if that group ends up getting together, then that's going to be your conversation one week. Then so be it. Who cares? I mean, it's like that's fine. And like there's some of us who are interested in whatever's going on with this Lion Gate thing. There's some who are interested in the dreams. It's all going to go all over the place, and then we're all going to learn wherever it goes. And then the more the mushrooms, the more of this, the more of that. The sky's the limit,
I was thinking too, while you were talking, Anne, is that I think we could start, like, after we have a couple of times that we do these groups, we can introduce once in a while some of the shamanic practices that we did with each other, which the first one, wasn't it just journeying for each other? I think that's what it was, the first thing. No, it was clearing the roots. It was going into the
clearing the roots. Yeah.
So you guys,
that's a great one.
Yeah, that's a really good one.
I still love that one.
Because I remember being like, you have to journey, which kind of is like a meditation to go into the roots of another person to see what needs to be either looked at or discussed, I guess. And I remember being like, oh, I can't even journey for myself. How am I going to do this for someone else? But it was like through these random practices that you were kind of forced, even if your mind said, no, I can't do that, but you had to report that you did it. And I think we had to do it like on 2 or 3 people. So you had to practice. And that's how I figured out what my gifts were. Like, I know I'm not a journeyer. Anne is a very good journeyer, but I know I can move energy. So it's like you start to see where you fit in the whole realm of these practices. So it's not just the shamanic practices, but it's all of them, you know, like even if we're talking about astrology or tarot, some people are going to be so gifted at that and some are not going to be. And that's perfect.
I mean, like my breakthrough moment was when I did that tarot reading first for Andrea, and it was a safe space, not knowing each other personally, so you don't have a bias and you're not doing it on your own, so that your ego doesn't come in and you just kind of let it out. And I can say now, you know, a couple months later, tarot is not my main practice. It was just a mechanism for me and my logical brain to gravitate towards unlocking or realizing what was already there. And I think when you have that safe space and your assignment is to show up for other people, hold space, and to do something, I don't know, I think there's just this, you let go more than if you were to do it on your own or with your friends or family.
I 100% agree with that. It's so much harder when it's someone you know, because your bias goes in the mix of it. Versus if you don't know what the person is going through, you're just letting go of all of your preconceived notions about what they want to hear or what, you know, when Anne and I were learning, we didn't know each other that well to know what to expect from each person. And what I found is that each person carries their own energy. And I remember asking the teacher after a couple of months, like, is density a thing? Because there are some people that feel so light and others that just feel so dense. And she was like, yep. But she didn't teach that. She didn't, because again, that would be a bias or like a direction, right? And literally, she didn't give us really any other than the tools on how to do it. She didn't tell us what to expect in it. And that was left you completely open to figuring out for yourself, how do you interpret the energy? Yeah.
I also feel too, you know, in doing certain practicing on other people, even though you yourself are kind of taking a step back and you're performing the work, there's always something out of it that is beneficial or relevant to you. You know, whenever I do tarot readings, there's always a message in there for me too. And I'm like, I feel a little called out, like, oh yeah. And then every time you know, and you had said this too, you know, once you get those little breadcrumbs of, oh yeah, that's I was good there. Oh yeah, I was right on there. Your confidence increases and then your vibration increases. And when that happens, you know, it's a doorway to other things coming in. So here I am 2 months later, and you know, I could see the matrix sometimes, or I can feel the vibration, or I can see things before my eyes or hear stuff. Like I never in my wildest dreams thought, you know, even 3 months ago that I could do this. So but I couldn't have done it on my own. It was something that has been unlocked, and for the most part, from me leaning on this group, you know. So that's, I want this for all of us in some way, and it's there. I can do it. Everyone else can.
And I think too, it creates like a safe space to practice, and that, you know, is exactly what everybody needs. It's just, it's there, and it's stuff that you'll just remember that you already knew, but it takes the practice to remember. And even if you think that you don't have gifts, because I was in that boat, we all do. It's just finding your natural given gifts. I hope you all believe that in yourselves. And no one's saying anything, but I really hope you hear that. Because I remember having a conversation with Lori and I don't think I can do any of this. And she was like, that's okay. You don't have to practice at all. It's like a career, just try. And I was like, Chad, do you want to talk?
Oh, sorry. I'm not on video, so I can't pick up verbal cues if I'm about to cut someone off. Can you guys hear me? Okay. I just wanted to share a story of my own story, actually, with a similar kind of message. I also used to be part of Courtney Starkey's spiritual hypnosis group, and I went, they have the hypnosis session, and then afterwards they practice psychic skill. And the week that I joined, like the first week, it was psychometry, where you pick up, use an object from someone else that has someone else's energy, and you just kind of tap into the energy of it and pick up whatever messages come through. And I was so nervous for it because this was like right at the beginning for me, and I was like, I thought I was just gonna get to tune out and like go into hypnosis, and then we broke out into these like individual groups, and I was really nervous. But I actually, in that moment, and working with this man who I had never met, who lives in England, his sister, actually, his deceased sister, came through with a message for him through me, and it was like a beautiful moment. And obviously I had no idea I had any like mediumistic type skills, and him and I were both kind of crying on it and just really, really shook. But similarly, I can definitely see the value in getting into like individual groups, and I feel like that sort of like practicing of our skills, or like I know there was a moment for me this week where the telepathy thing has been in my head since we mentioned it last week, and I was watching this show, and the girl on it, she was like a witch, and she was speaking to her friends through telepathy, and then I was like, I'm gonna try to do that right now, and I tried to think of like which of us are in my time zone on the West Coast, so I was like, Nina, Gabrielle, can you hear me? Which is like pretty funny. But I don't know, I think it would be cool just to get together and like have some topics and start practicing them, even if they're not in our current like interest or skill set. It's like, you know, everyone's saying that like our powers are coming back online, and why not just like dive in?
I did that to you. I did. I was like going in. I'm like, okay, Aisha, you feel me? And then I didn't feel anything. I was like, oh, stop it. Empty. No one's in the room.
Oh my God, I have goosebumps. I wonder if it was at the same time.
That, or, you know, it was sometime this past week. So clearly it worked.
Wow. Yeah, totally. Wow.
I first experience taking a cannabis gummy, and I stopped talking and was looking at them, his best friend, and I said, "Why are you guys looking at me?" And they were like, "We were just talking," and I said, "I finished my sentence telepathically," and they looked at me like, "What?" I was like, "Oh, I totally thought you remembered." And so I started talking to them that way, face to face, but it was because I was in the gummy. I didn't know, I forgot that we don't use that here. And they were, of course, they thought I was, lost my mind, but it is natural, actually. It is very natural. And if you let go of the ego, it's what we naturally want to do. So it's just our one little ego that is holding us back from that. So let's see, I had one other thing that Nina brought up to talk about today was how do we protect our energy, but at the same time, take in collective energy and transmute it. So I shared that episode that I did a while back that came from Puma. And I didn't go back and listen to it, but what I remember him talking about is that, well, let me first say, when we studied with Lori, she talked about transmuting energy down to the ground or through fire or even water. Puma disagreed with that. He felt that if you were pulling in energy, that we need to transmute it in our own vehicles, our own vessels. There's no reason for us to give any more dense energy to the earth. She doesn't need it. So I have been practicing that. So Richard gets headaches. He's been getting them pretty bad this week. And what I practice now is when I pull it from him, instead, I do still have like tears come down and I yawn, but I keep it inside and let it come out that way versus in my mind pulling it down to the ground. So when you talk about transmuting energy, it means that okay, I'm just going to give the example of Richard's headache because that's the only thing that I can. So he'll be laying down with his head on my lap and I put my hands right here on the temple so I feel it physically. And then I ask and I go into that pulse and I say, like, where did this come from? Why is it here? Because it was like 2 days ago and he got like 3 back to back. So it was 3 times during the day that we did this. And so I was feeling into it and I feel like, so we have our receiving hand, which is our left, and our giving, which is the right. And I pull it through my body and I held it in my body until it started coming out as like these kind of like crazy yawns, like, or tears, just tears. And then I hold it until it's gone. And then I ask, is it complete? Then I feel, is the pulse, what a headache feels like if it's, the pulse was gone. And then I ask, I think it's gone. And he would sit up and it would be gone, and it would be gone for a few hours, but it would come back. And then, so then I did it again. And I asked, why does it keep coming back? And they said, because he's not protecting his energy. So then I had to have the conversation with him about that. And he was like, how can I do that? And I said, there are 2 ways. One way is to say, I am protected and I'm not taking on energy that isn't mine. Like, you have free will to protect your vessel. Or if you don't want to say, you don't have to say it out loud. That can all be in your head. Or you just open up your 8th chakra and you're protected. So he was like, okay. And then the next day I said, how's your head? He's like, well, this morning I woke up and I did what you said and I don't have a headache. So that is, I believe it. I know it works. I know that we have power. The moment that I get it, even a twinge of something, I just say, I'm not taking this on, and it goes away. Because what they look like is threads. They're just little threads that will come in. If it's open, it's going to come in because it needs a place to land. You have the control to let it in and fester it and feed it, or you say, no, I'm not taking this on, and you vibrate higher. And I know that sounds like kind of like esoteric, but try it. That's the only way you will work with it, is to try it. And as far as protection, in my opinion, is you always need to be protected. The more in tune you are with your energy, you don't need to say it, you just are. But you then, I feel like I walk through with the sovereigns of my energy now, versus like, holy shit, is this person going to get me? Is that one going to get me? No, because I know even if a thread comes through, I can stop it. So without like I don't need to physically do anything. I just am able to take it out. So that could be like the first thing, is just start practicing, and not only with headaches, but like any pains. Like if you have children, if they have like a stomach ache, put your hands on their stomach and just literally tune into the vibration of it. And then like for me, when I am doing Richard's head, I just am like, this energy doesn't belong here. And I kind of like, my mind have the conversation with it. And it maybe takes, I don't know, maybe 2 minutes and it's gone. So all it is bringing attention to it, versus like, oh, it's there, let me take Advil, let me just try to cover it. No, it just wants to be heard and release. That's how it feels. Like today, my little dog, she has been throwing up. So, and she never lets me really put her on her back and hold her stomach, but today she did. So I just sent her good energy. I don't know if it helped. I don't know. She's right there. I don't know, but she didn't throw up again. And like, I don't know, every day you have situations where you can think, let me get an Advil or let me fix it topically. Just take a minute and try, because what I'm finding is that it's so much faster than the medicine is anyway. And it's one of those things, until you try, you don't know that you can do it, but we all can do it.
Which hand did you say is your receiving and which is your giving?
Your left is receiving and your right is giving. Yeah.
I heard it could be your dominant. So if you're left-handed, that could be your giving, and you're right, you're receiving. But then I also know that your masculine and feminine side. So who knows?
The other thing that I was taught about energy is like, think about a mother holding a baby. She's not consciously thinking she's giving that baby like energy and nurturing it. But of course it falls asleep and loves the mom because that's exactly what she's doing without realizing it. That's healing energy. So it's the same thing. If you just tune into that, loving and nurturing the person that you want to be with and take care of, and then tune into that thread. And it's not like you have to know the thread. It's just whatever the person is saying, this is what is bothering me. You just feel into that. And then you say, it's time to move on. Or you can ask, why is it here? Where did it come from? And it's the same thing of using your senses to tune into why. Like I wasn't going to tell him how to protect himself because he's not somebody that gets this stuff. I've never talked to him about that before. But I was like, okay, I'm just gonna say it because he, and at first he wouldn't do it, but then the next day he's like, I'm gonna try it, and it worked. So
You could also use your pendulum and do the same thing. Because I've used my pendulum on my dog when he had an earache or an ear infection, and I did the same thing with the pendulum over his ear, and it helped. It was helping.
Explain what you did because I've never done that.
I just did the same thing like you were doing with your husband. I put the pendulum over, and I took, I had it to take it out. I had it going counterclockwise. And then to bring in good energy, I had it going clockwise.
So you said, like, take this out, and it went counter, and then you said, and put in good, and it went clock.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, all of these things are tools, right? For sure. It's just, we definitely don't need a tool because we all are energy. You all can believe that it is you doing the work. It's just testing it, trying it, like, and seeing what happens. Like, who cares? Like, let's say if it didn't fix his head, like, because he came back to me 3 times that day. And I was like, that's really weird. And so I would do it again and I would cry and get it. It's not like I'm crying like boohoo, but just tears come out because energy has to be manifested in some way if you're transmuting it through your body. It's not just okay, go into the ground. If you did have done ayahuasca, you probably know that energy releases through your body in purging, through these crazy yawns, through crying, all of these ways are how energy comes out of you. So if you're transmuting someone else's energy, it's going to come out of you in some way. And it's okay, like, it doesn't hurt. It's not like a scary thing. It's just you be prepared, and you never know like what it will do. When I do healing work for other people, it usually is yawns and tears. That's basically how always it comes out through me for others.
I also love how yawning has become my indicator that I am connected. So if I'm opening my Akashic records, as soon as I yawn, or if I'm doing an astrology reading, as soon as I feel the urge, like, oh, there it is, I'm yawning, and that's just my affirmation. So it's a fun tool.
I love that. For me, when I'm in my records, it's I start going in circles. My body starts moving, and it's like if I let go into it, it will go pretty big. But all it takes is me just feeling that motion, and I know that I'm in there. So again, it's probably different for every single person, right?
Sherry just put in the chat, stomach grumbles. I get that too. And when meditating, like if I'm in it with my higher self, or what I think is my higher self, my head goes backwards. It's almost
Mine
like
does that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Actually, the first time I ever took I've talked about this from Four Visions, the Divine Sisterhood tincture at the same time as the Divine Mother Rose Hape. I used them together for the first time, and it was like this involuntary, like, whoa, and then just feeling all the feels. So that was, it's pretty cool.
Love that. I think too, the other thing I'm noticing is that anytime we try to think about it or get in our heads about it, it's never the thing. Not ever. It never comes through your mind. It's feeling, and what does it feel like, and letting it flow through you by feeling it. That's crazy. In my last ceremony with ayahuasca, there was a lot of healing on my stomach, and it wasn't until that was complete, which was almost the entire ceremony. And once it was complete, then the higher self came in. So it's interesting that things have to shift in order for that vibration to come into your body, whether it be like in the physical sense or even connecting. You have to, like, that lower density, or like could be what you had for lunch. It could be that yawning, the crying. If there's something there that has to release before you can accept. I can't wait until we all have had this experience so that we can all share in what the magic of that is, because it's just, it's beautiful.
As far as protection goes, I do kind of like similar thing. I put like a white.
Sorry, go ahead, Susan.
I just put a white light.
Aisha,
I put a bubble. I think she's
okay.
Yeah. So basically, for protection, I just put a bubble around myself, and that's it. Like, I just say, this is my protective shield. I'm in this bubble. And I've done this for years, but before I did that, I didn't know I had to protect when I was doing a lot of healing work. And I took everything on, and I had a negative entity on me. So I got severely depressed, like not depressed, I just couldn't shake this negative loop in my head. And I didn't even know it wasn't mine. It was like everybody's collective energy that just stuck on my back. I think it was on my back. It was on my head. I had this whole entire healing done with these crystals, and it lifted. But then after that, she said, you're not protecting yourself. And I had never done that before. So as soon as she taught me about this white light, put it around yourself, and then the violet flame to transmute, which I think I sent it to Andrea, but I think somebody else sent the violet flame meditation. Those are two things that really work for me. And now it is just within me. Like, I have sovereignty. I don't really have to think about it too much. And it's been years though. So I've been kind of collectively putting the shield around me, and maybe it just stays. But it's pretty instantaneous for everybody.
One thing I want to just say, this in the last ceremony that I was in, my friend that came from Mexico, she had just finished her second dieta with Sananga. Okay, so she did 21 days, then was off for like a month, and then she did another 21 days. And in that last day, something attached to her, because think about that. Sananga just releases all this stuff, and then there you are, if you're not protecting this open vessel for something else to jump on, and it did. And it was in the second ceremony that she was able to get rid of it. But for her, it took this giant cockroach. Like she said, it was like a 6 foot tall cockroach to clean it out of her. So if you aren't protecting, you are open. And also, light attracts, just like the mosquitoes are attracted to light, it wants it. It definitely wants it. When I was in Bali, it was January 2020. I hadn't yet really learned about protection. I had some ideas, but it wasn't a daily practice for me. And I met a girl there that was already kind of taken over by an entity, and it came for me. Like, she got her chakras open, and having that energy flushing through her, she got up and literally tried to attack me. And I was like, oh my God. And the healer got between us and he explained, this is why it happened. This is why she was coming for it. It wasn't her personally, but that energy wanted to attack me. So that's how it can be if you aren't careful about and literally make it a daily practice. So I'm not saying that to scare anyone.
I say Smith, I went ahead and got one of her her wrapping courses.
Yeah.
You know, it comes in a bundle. So I'll try and figure out how I can share some of it with you guys. But she says that she can like set a specific time frame, you know, like, oh, I'm gonna put this white light protection on me for the next 24 hours. Or you could even say like for the next 3 days, but she also says she likes to do it in spurts. I forget the reason why. But
I've heard
I'll see how I can send it to the group.
I think it's Lucia that talked about you can, I think it was her, and I could be wrong, but that you can make it permeable. So you can say, I am protected, but anything that is for my greater good is allowed through. And I can't remember who said that. But if you want to make sure that you still are getting the energies that are needed for you, you can say that. I mean, just think about the power of intention, really. You can make it your own thing.
I wonder too, I was working with a small group months ago on energy protection. And one of the things that we learned, although I haven't really practiced it now, I want to, was being able to assess where you're open, because sometimes you don't know, and to actively, you know, open and close it, open and close it, open and close it, so that you know what that feels like. So, you know, for your crown chakra, I think mine's open right now, so I should probably close it. And to spend time, you know, whatever that looks like to you, whether it's a flower, or opening, closing, or a window, a door, but that's something too.
I shared with you guys, mine is the back of my neck, which that's the back of your third eye. And I have a protectant like essence that I put there if I'm feeling vulnerable, because it always comes in through that spot. And like, even when I roll my head, I feel a click. I know there's something there when there's something there. So yeah, I love that practice though, Mina, like opening and closing all of your chakras to energy would be interesting too. And like really visualizing it, feeling into it.
Got a question then about, it's still on the topic of protection. So I had a reading with Lorena a while back, and she had said that, you know, you're an open portal. And I know that previously you've mentioned before seeing the matrix and the spheres, and how we're, you know, we're all representative of that sphere. And I think for many of us, we are open portals, which is why we've been brought together. My question is, what exactly does that mean? And
I associate it meaning is that you're a channel for source to come through, and a portal meaning like it's, if we're the part of the new ley lines of this new energy grid, you will become an open vessel for that energy to come through, right? So you want to be open, but discerning between dense and light. And that is a feeling. That is just a knowing feeling. For me, that's what it feels like. Anne, what would you say it is for you? Oh, yes.
I don't, and I'm writing notes of what you're saying here. I don't know why off top.
Okay, so for me,
I don't know. I don't know yet.
denseness to me feels like, you know, that's that goo gone that you have to buy to get rid of those stickers that just will not, it's that sticky, like you cannot get it removed no matter what you do, substance. It's mucky. Where light feels like, like, I don't know, let's see, like a breath of fresh air. And so whenever you're feeling like, this doesn't, like in my neck, it feels like I know it's there and it's not part of me. So that's how I know something's come in or that I need to pay attention to it. But when I work with people, and even when we clear out chakras, what it feels like for me, and it's weird because I do feel it with my hand too, because we put the chakra in a backspin first to loosen the energy. And then when I go, I'll take my hand and I go in and feel, what does it feel like? And some chakras, it will just feel light, like it doesn't feel sticky at all. And then the next one, it feels dense. It feels like you can literally pick it up like a scoop of putty. And then I bring it to a flame, a candle flame. It's tangible. You can literally move it. You can hold it in a dense form in your hand and move it. Light, you can't do that with, because it's air. It's nothing, you know, it's everything but nothing at the same time. So when I say we're portals, it's, yes, your vessel is a portal for energy to come through into this world and manifest in its each individual way, I believe. But you are open for a reason, but you still have to protect what comes towards you, because again, you're light, and who, of course, densities want to attract to that light to dull it. Does that answer the question or no?
Yes, most definitely.
And even how I'm saying, like, the only way you really know what that feels like for yourself is to do these practices. So I think that is definitely the next step, because I didn't know until I started feeling into people. And I told you, Anne was maybe the second person that I worked with, and I just felt like, oh, I know her soul. I feel connected to her soul, and she's light. Then the next person that I work with, I was like, ooh, it's not that the person is bad and the person is totally fine, but that doesn't mean that there are not dense energies going through that person's vessel, and you can feel the difference. And usually it manifests as like a lot of stories, a lot of past traumas. Because let's say we come into each life with karma, and I think, and I don't know this for sure, but karma's there's a density attached with karma, right? And it's stuff you have to work through. So in a way, it actually is in your energy field. And there was one woman that I worked with, and she actually got really mad that I worked with her energy, and she ended up leaving the course because of it, because I was only going off of the instructions that we were given, right? And she felt like I was too invasive with her energy. But I felt, again, it was like my first time. I think she was the first time that I was doing it. So I didn't know any different. And I felt there's so much density there. So I'm removing it, and and she felt violated. But I got to the core of the root of the issue, and she did feel like there was a shift. But what her issue, and this I found out later, was that she wanted Lori, our teacher, to put more guardrails on how we work with energy, because she felt like, look, there's this new person that doesn't really know what she's doing, and she's going in deep with my energy, which this person had many years of working as an energy healer. So she obviously knows and knew more than me. But I knew what it felt like, and I was like, this isn't okay. And I was getting it in, getting it out, and it jolted her system, But then Lori, our teacher, she said that she looked into it from her side, and I did everything that I was supposed to do. It just was too much for her. And I mean, I don't think I did anything wrong. I am more careful.
You did. You did fine. I had the same thing. You remember too. Remember I was doing a girl and she called me out and she said, get out, stop it, stop trying to get into my stuff.
Oh, no, I don't remember you telling me that.
Yes, I ended up telling the whole class. I remember I was going through the girl and clearing out her chakras.
Oh,
And I,
your friend. It wasn't one of the people in the class.
it wasn't one of the people in the class, but it was my friend. And she was like, don't start trying to get into my past and start psychoanalyzing me. And I mean, she just lost it on me. So it was pretty funny.
But that's density, that it wants to stay. It's like it's burrowed in and it's happy. It does not want to be removed. And the ego will come in and protect it too. So I think, you know,
But the one thing I wanted to say, I think you stumped me when you said, you know, what do you say about this? When you asked me, I don't know where my portal is on my body.
oh,
And I think that's where you asked me, Ann, what do you think? And I'm like, I don't know yet because I keep, because you were saying, you know, yours is in the back and it's just like it. And Mina goes, it could be coming in her crown. And I'm like, I know I should know where it comes in. I know I should know where it's at. I don't know where it,
I don't
I
either.
don't know
I was
where
just
my
throwing
weak
that out
spot
there.
is.
well, Sam did a session with Andrea earlier today, and hers is her sacral. And why do I know that? It was the most dense. It was where the energy, that dense energy, was being stored. So it's understanding where does your body and your chakra system hold that, the stickiest of stuff. And it's because it's attacking that one because it's safe there. Oh, actually, and I'm going to say this, I worked on somebody that I went into the session knowing I felt uncomfortable about it to begin with. And I did it anyway. And I've talked about this. I got a bladder infection within an hour because in my sacral, because that's another weak point of my body. So now I don't work on anyone without sitting on selenite because I am not going through that again. So finding the different ways to, where are your weak points? And I don't blame the person, I blame myself because already I knew it wasn't someone's energy I was meant to go into, but I did anyway. And then I was taught this is where you need to protect.
If you practice and for everyone else, the golden ribbon, you know, where you start up here and you work it around, going down. If you have any trouble feeling or visualizing it, like you know, when I tried it the first time, I was having a really hard time getting it like around right here. So for me in that moment, I thought, okay, I've got something happening here, whether it's a block or if there's like stagnant energy or if there's a hole or a tear. That, I mean, and then I also felt it somewhere else in my body. And then after going through that exercise and then sweeping away what wasn't mine and taking back what is mine, I felt tingling and a rush of energy coming back here, but in a good way.
That was something Lori had us do. What was it called? Do you remember?
The golden something. I could get my notebook and look at it.
Yeah, look it up. But she would be like, now feel, is there a draft anywhere? Is there any stickiness? And then she wanted you to go in and weave it back together. If there was any kind of energy getting through after you brought down your 8th chakra, it was feel. Do you feel any stickiness? Do you feel any draft? Anything that doesn't feel solid, go in and knit it back together. Something like that. And again, when to get her book. So, and there is another thing that she taught us too, their energy bands and how to protect yourself with bands. I mean, I feel like we could be sharing all this information, but at the same time, I don't know if it's my information to share. I know I've asked her and she said she does want us to share. So it's not like it's her, but that could be a starting point of how to start understanding these things on a deeper level. What do you think, Anne?
Yeah, it was the energy bands. You're right. Yeah, I think some of this wouldn't hurt to share as long as she's okay with it.
Well, I
Because-
did ask her, because I talked about her a few times in the podcast and I asked, and she said, definitely share whatever you feel called to share, so.
I mean, it's all out there, you know, and a lot of the practices is all the same, you know.
I do want to say though, she emailed me this week because I was thinking of her when I was doing the stones communication. And so I wrote her an email saying like, I had gone back to that video and she's such an amazing person in the way that she taught. So I just told her that and she asked if she could be on the podcast. And I said, I've never interviewed anyone, but if you're saying that you're announcing you're doing classes again, I would do it. She hasn't replied, so I don't know if she's opening back up or not, but we'll see. But yeah, I think that'd be a good place to start. I mean, yeah, I guess maybe we could even do like in our weekly chats, like I'll take one piece from each week or whatever, and we'll bring it into the conversation. I think that's a good way to start it because there's a lot of information and just start like digest it little by little. You think that's good, Anne?
Okay.
What?
We talk on, we'll
Okay.
talk and add more into it.
Okay.
We'll get more going on it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think that's it.
Coming soon.
Yeah. But what I love is that she really did start from the basis of I didn't know anything in that way. So for me, it was like a little build up over time that helped me to see what we were actually doing, you know? Okay. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about today? I think I had all the things that I had to say. I feel like I talk the most. I don't like that. I'd like you all to start talking more.
I think last week I talked a lot.
You did? I don't remember that. I feel like I'm always like blah, 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 blah. Oh, you missed it. I played a song that had the lion in it.
Oh,
To you because it's beautiful.
yeah, do. Yeah.
Um,
And my mom brought up the lion again today. My grandfather, before he passed, he has and I'm going there. We'll be going to Oklahoma. We leave on Sunday. So I'll see what stone it is, but it's made out of it's a pale beige stone. And it's polished, but it's carved in the shape of a lion. And he brought it back from Germany for my grandmother in World War II.
wow.
And so my mom said, you know what? Every time I look at that, I have this feeling you're supposed to have that.
She said that today.
Uh-huh.
I think you are supposed to have that. And I think you're supposed
Yeah.
to take a picture of it.
Yeah. That was the very last thing my grandpa did before he died, was he picked that lion up and brought it down for Ashton to touch and pet and put her hands on. And then he put it back up and then he died the next day.
What stone that could be? Pale? You said like an earth tone? Or what color did you say?
Yes, it's like an earth. It's like the color of a yellow lab, but it's a polished stone or crystal, and it's big. Like it's probably the size of one of my feet, like my husband's foot, maybe like a size 10 foot.
So you're going to be there this weekend, so you can send us a photo.
I will. I'll be there Sunday. And yeah.
That's awesome. So lions are definitely coming for you.
I know.
You kind of look like a lion. Are you Leo?
No, I'm Taurus.
Oh. Do you have any Leo in your sign?
I don't know.
Interesting. Well, maybe it's the Lion's Gate. You're probably going to have a big breakthrough this Lion's Gate.
Yeah, last night I got really sick and went to bed, and then at 2:22 is when I woke up from that dream.
I personally have gotten to the point where I don't think it's the numbers themselves that each individually mean something. It's just a synchronicity. It's showing you that you're
I think it's just having me remember what, like, it got my attention to rouse up.
Yeah. And it's also, though, a confirmation of this was meant to happen and meant for you to remember.
Right. Yeah, that's what I mean. Mhm.
Yeah. I love that. How about Andrea? How are you feeling?
Yeah. The night before I had a,
Oh, sorry. No, go Tiffany. Sorry.
oh no, go on. It's fine. Go on.
Oh, continue
No,
on.
Okay. The night before I had a dream and I had a rainbow hummingbird in each hand. One of them had come and landed in each hand. We don't really get them in Michigan much. And or where I am in Michigan. And they were completely rainbow and they looked me in the eye and flew off. And then yesterday morning, I was getting ready for work and I even called my husband in. A hummingbird came to my Oriole feeder at my orange then in the morning after my dream. And I don't know why in my dream that they were rainbow. I don't know what significance that has, but.
They are iridescent. They're not, they are rainbows.
Yeah, they are. But
But
these were like a bright rainbow.
Wow. God, maybe all of your spirit animals are just coming in. Keep track of this? Do you know about spirit animals?
Oh, I do know about them, yes, but I have been meditating on that quite a bit. So that could be it too, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well,
I
like
started seeing the lines of the matrix in rainbow the last couple days. Maybe there's something there.
you said you're seeing the lines of the matrix and they're rainbows?
Uh-huh. Not the whole thing, but big chunks of it, like big isosceles triangles.
Wow. So I was saying, you know how when I open sacred space, I have, there are the 4 directions and typically you have a spirit animal in each direction. Now I have more than one in each direction because more spirit animals have come. But what you would do is that then you would start meditating, let's say with Lion, and ask, what direction do you want to be a part of? And I mean, we can go through this, but as you know, the South is about letting go and the fires of transformation. The West is all about nurturing and water. The North is earth, ancestors, and how do we bring our gifts into this world? And the East is like the place of the sun and the sunrise, and it's how to embody your magical, mythical being here. So when a new animal comes in, I ask, where do you want to live? What part of me do you want to ally with?
Gotcha.
And then any work that I do, I call them in because they're clearly here for a reason for you. So then I call them in as my allies to help with whatever I'm working on. Yeah. Sorry, Andrea, tell us how you're doing.
I'm doing good. I'm just really, really tired. But I think it's just like my allergies are really bad. It's really windy here today. And so before COVID, I was doing allergy shots and then COVID came and then everything stopped. So I haven't had any shots in over a year, but now like my body's really feeling it. And today, this afternoon, it's like the weather just went crazy. It's like, so I'm really feeling it right now. So congested, but I'm feeling good, you know, kind of light and just hopeful for better days. And I don't know, I'm just like, just excited to, you know, to see my life change or just like how I feel. I just feel like it can't come soon enough to find my gifts, you know, when I hear you guys talk about them. It's just nice, you know, I wish that I knew what my gifts are. I mean, I can tell, my friends tell me I have gifts, but I think most friends will tell you that anyway. You know, oh, you're a great listener. You know, you always have a good advice. I'm like, yeah, okay. Something other than that.
You will. You wouldn't be here if that wasn't meant for you. So.
Yeah. But everything that you guys talk about is so interesting. I'm like, yes, please do that. Do a class. I'm here. I'll take it.
Aisha just sent a funny message. Aisha, do you want to talk? I don't know why you're saying you'll be quiet. Oh, unmute her. Oh, I muted her. Now she wants to unmute. I'm sorry. Did I wait?
Oh,
wait. How do I unmute you? I don't even know. Let's see. I don't know. It says okay. All right.
Wow. Gabrielle was like, no one's talking this week. Meanwhile, I've been like trying to talk for the past half an hour. Sorry, guys. Can you hear me? I think it's because I'm on the phone and I know like through work, when someone else mutes you, you can't actually unmute yourself until you get unmuted. Anyways, I was like thinking this whole time, I wanted to talk about spirit animals. And as I was trying to bring it up, but I was muted, then the rainbow hummingbird came up. And I also wanted to comment about the rainbow body and how that's like how we transform our body. I think it is probably somewhat, similar to the crystalline body. And then, so those two things came up at the same time. And the thing with, because I see my spirit totem, my animal totem, every day, like comes to me every day, and on this call, sorry. And so I listened to a podcast. I forget who it was by, but she said that animal totems can like come into this realm, in and out of this realm. And I just feel like there's this similarity between seeing the rainbow butterfly and like the it just feels very aligned with like how our bodies are changing and how we're going through this like high vibrational shift right now. And I just see like the rainbow hummingbird being like symbolizing that in the rainbow body. And I know my animal totem is coming in to me every day. And it's almost like it's like a sign to me that like keep raising your vibration. And I'm just curious, I guess my question is, does anyone know about that theory or that idea that spirit totems are like a gap between, they're like in our world, but also in other dimensions?
It depends on the animal, but I believe, like my experience with the animals that
Oh, it might be pushed in.
you've been them before, so they are your spirit animal because you are that energy. It's not separate from you. It's an ally that is you. So when you say, is it from another realm? It depends. Like I know that the crystal condor is from another realm, but I think that's depending on the lineage, I think that you are identifying with. But personally, I believe if it comes to you, it is for you. It is part of you. Like there was a hummingbird that died on my doorstep, and I happened to be the one that found it. And I know, and then I journeyed with it and tried to find out why. And it was because it needed to come and live in my heart space and be a part of me in this vessel. So that particular one was a physical manifestation of a spirit animal that wanted me to see it, wanted me to know it, right? So in a way, it depends. Like it's communicating with them and seeing what the energy is they want to teach you. But you could ask, like, are you coming because you're bringing energy from another realm or another dimension? Because I think it would depend on each one, I guess. Is that, Aisha, does anyone else have anything to add? I feel like I don't know.
I'm going to that there down. And you won't have anyone hit their head.
it's just interesting, and I feel like for me, I know there's like a specific message that I get every time, but I think I might just look. I'm wondering if at this time they're like here to help us transition, help us, you know, like maybe like as way showers for us to go through the transformation.
Remember, all of the
I know.
animals in it, back to you so that, like, and you ally that helps you. She says,
Really gonna have to stick.
Unfortunately, my reception is bad, and I wasn't able to catch any of that, but I will listen back on the recording.
No, I couldn't hear any of that either.
Oh, you guys couldn't hear any of that either?
Mm-mm.
No, there was feedback. I think we got to mute everybody again when you say it.
I said that the animals are literally, all timelines are collapsing. So if, for example, I was a hummingbird in another life, it's coming to me now because that energy needs to be in this vessel. Because imagine even all of your past lives where you've had gifts and you did something big. What I felt is that it's coming into your energy body here so that you can bloom in this lifetime. You can become that portal in this lifetime with that energy behind you. It's not just this vessel and this ego. It's way bigger than that. So if an animal keeps coming to you, it's coming for a reason. You are that animal. It's just now, how do you embody it? If it's coming into your awareness, like for the example, that hummingbird, I didn't know why it was coming. So I journeyed with it and let it speak to me on what and it just like went right into my heart, and it felt like, and then I was like, okay, that's where it's going to be living, in my heart chakra. And now it's become one of my allies. But in a way, it's not outside of you. It's coming to you because you have that vibration already in you. You've been it. Like, okay, so when I did that reading with S.A. Smith, she says that I have a Pegasus, and I don't yet know the Pegasus, and I have never experienced the Pegasus in my reality other than her saying it. But she's like, no, I mean, it's all around you. It's in this life. It wants to be a part of you. And until I mean, I've opened myself up to, yes, I'm ready to receive it if it does want to come in, but I have to experience it myself. I don't think we can rely on others to tell us what our animals are. I think if it's meant for you, you'll feel it in yourself. So that's why, Tiffany, with all of yours, they're coming to you. There's a reason. Yeah. And just because I don't want to end without Sherry talking, I'm going to Sherry.
I did. I spoke at the beginning. I know. I am in agreement with everything. I wanted to just add that I buried my crystal, and listening to last week's the tribe chat, I face the sun every time that I meditate. And I was just like, oh, am I the only one? And I just kept listening, and it was like, no, you're doing it right. So I sit on my crystal, and and then like Mina said, my head just goes like this, and it's this feeling that I could feel the energy at that place. So that was a yes for me.
And I love that you guys are realizing it's not a mind thing, it's feeling. It's all.
Yeah, and until you let everybody says something, and I'm just like, oh, I don't have anything, like Drea, and then, but wait, I hear Mina say it, and I'm like, okay, me. And then you say something, and I'm like, okay, me. So it feels like we're validating each other, and I think that's the benefit of this group. So I feel better after our talks.
Well, think about it in that way too. Like, none of these things would be valid or validated in normal reality. So it's like, we just push them down as they're nothing, right? It's everything. Right. It's just using and tuning back into those senses that are the real you.
So we're realizing it by being together.
Yeah. Okay, girls, we're gonna close for today. So many good talks. Mina, I know you have permission to go in with the pendulum for all of our energies. And if anyone that hasn't been on here, if you want to just send a group chat or, in the group chat, just confirm with ones that haven't been. And then I'm going to start like digging into the beginning shamanic practices, because I think that could be a good place to start and just start to understand energy in that way. So yeah, I think starting next week, and part of this 2 hours, we'll just have a lesson. We'll just get into it. Okay. Good. Okay. I'll see you guys next week.
See you guys later. Bye.
Bye.